Hello Minecrafters, Arctishark Games here coming at you another Minecraft Bedrock Edition tutorial. Today's tutorial is going to be an add-on tutorial, and it's going to show you guys how you can create different item groups in the creative menu. So you guys can see here I have this section which is not a vanilla item group, and it's called shark blocks, and I've got all my different various shark blocks inside of this section. And then as well, I have a bunch of other different sections here. I have sea lanterns, all kinds of different custom blocks that I've made. So if you're a creator and you have all kinds of different custom blocks or items and it's just totally clogging up your menu, you can go ahead and you can create your own custom item groups. And you can do it in any of these four categories. You can see I have more groups down here. So you can do it in the construction, the equipment, the items, or the nature category. Unfortunately, at this time, I don't know how to organize the vanilla items. I would love to be able to move around the vanilla items, but you can put your items inside of a custom group if you guys weren't aware of that, or you can go ahead and you can make your own groups now, which is actually something that's new to version 1.21.60. So if we go ahead and navigate over into our launcher, you can go under patch notes and 1.21.6. If you scroll on down to probably 3/4 of the way down here, you can go ahead and find the technical updates category, in which they describe to us that a new option has popped up in behavior packs where they're going to allow us to go ahead and create our own item groups in a new file called the crafting item catalog. The crafting item catalog will be located inside your behavior pack inside a new folder called the item catalog folder. So if you want to go ahead and follow along with this example right here in the patch notes, you're welcome to go ahead and do that. But if you want to stick around for the video here, I have gone and created our own template and example as well that goes into a little bit more depth, as well as I can go ahead and walk you guys through on how to do that. If you guys want to go ahead and download that, you can check it out in the Shark Commanders Discord, which I will go ahead and I'll put a couple of QR codes down here. If you guys scan one of these QR codes, it'll take you right to the Shark Commanders Discord, where there will be a file here with an example behavior pack with an example item catalog, so you can make your own groups. As well as you can certainly just follow along through the tutorial and use the example there from the change log. It's totally up to you. Alright, so I'll also throw a link in the description to the Shark Commanders, by the way. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into that. We're going to switch out of game here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to navigate over to that Shark Commanders Discord, where we can download the add-on template. You can use the link in the description, or you can use the QR code that was in-game there. And you're going to be presented with a few different channels here. The first thing that you're going to want to do is, if you want to be part of the community, you can hit join here, where you can go ahead and get into the main parts of the Discord. But if you don't want to do that, I totally understand. You can just go ahead and scroll down where we have our official systems section. You go to Shark add-ons, and then we have our creative menu item groups is what we're doing today. So then we're going to go ahead and open up that channel there, and we're going to find our item group.zip. So you're going to download the item group.zip, and then you're going to want to go ahead and hit continue to download. And then we're going to go ahead and locate our downloads folder here. So we have our downloads, the item group.zip, and we're going to need to go ahead and extract that file there. So we're going to extract it, and it should pretty quickly go ahead and open up the folder for you. Alright, now that we have our item group folder extracted, we're going to go ahead and open it up here. Make sure that you guys are opening the real file here, not the folder that opens from extracting it. So go ahead and double check that it's actually right in here and that you're opening the correct folder. And then we're going to go ahead and select that. I'm going to cut it, and we're going to go to the com.mojang folder, which, if you guys are unfamiliar with how to get to the com.mojang folder, I have another video for the basics of add-on creations. You guys can go ahead and check that out, and it'll show you exactly how you can link that file over here to your quick access. But for now, we're just going to pop right into the folder as if we already know, and then we're going to go over to our developmental behavior packs folder. So this development behavior packs is where we're going to want to put files that we're actually working on. So we're going to put that in here, and we're going to paste it. it. And now that I've pasted it in here, I'm going to go ahead and open it right up. And now that we've opened it up, you can see that basically it's a simple behavior pack. We have our pack icon and our manifest here, and then we have a little bit of a README, which we're going to want to go ahead and check out here. And this is basically just going to explain what the video is going to explain, and it's going to show you guys which file that you can use and all that. So basically, if you open up this new folder that they've allowed us to do here in 1.21.6, it's called the item catalog, and if you open that up, it's going to be one singular file, and it's going to be crafting_item_catalog. Now you're saying, Shark, you have two files in here. You said it was one singular file. Yes, I do have two files in here, and that's because I provided you guys with two different examples. So first, we're just going to open up the main one here. So the behavior pack will automatically be linked to a file with this name. So crafting item catalog is the proper name. I put crafting item catalog 2 on the other one, so that one won't work unless we rename it to be the proper name. So anyways, we're going to open this up, and it's going to open right up for us in Visual Studio Code. And again, if you guys don't have a code reader or Visual Studio Code, you can go ahead and jump into that first tutorial that we mentioned earlier, and it will show you guys how to download Visual Studio Code. So now that we're in here, you can see that I've got a bunch of green comments here from the Shark, and the rest of it is just basically a simple layout. Basically, it says the format version is 1.21.6. So if you're putting this in your existing pack, you might need to change your minimum pack version to 1.21.6, but for you guys using our template here, you don't have to worry about that. So this shows how to simply add one item group, basically is what it is, and then this tells you that the other one will give you a more full example. So this one here is going to be in the construction category, and you can see that the category name is construction here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just start editing this file here to work for our block names. So we have one group here under the groups, and this is the group right here if I go ahead and highlight it. So our group is going to consist of basically a couple of different things. We're going to have an icon, which basically is going to be like the block that shows up in the menu with the little plus arrow, so you can click on that block. And then basically how you're going to do it is it's called names, it's put in the namespace identifier format. So basically just whatever you're doing, like let's say my namespace is Shark for all my blocks. So whatever your custom blocks are called here, you're going to put the one that you want to show as your picture. So we go Shark, and we could put like Shark block as the name. So that would be the one that shows up in the picture. And then this here, even though it is a name that shows up in the menu, actually still also has to be in the same format, namespace identifier format that is. So we still have to show a namespace here, and we're going to go ahead and put like one that actually looks nice. We can put capital Shark if we'd like to, and then you can go ahead and put your group name. So I'll put like Shark Blocks, and then you can see the name that appears in the creative menu. And then this is where you list the items that go inside of that category. Now, one thing that you guys want to keep in mind when you're listing your items here is that inside your block behavior, to register it to the creative menu nowadays, it actually requires you to select a category. So this category is construction. So inside your block behavior, you're going to want to set them to that correct category as well. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say that my Shark block here was set to be in the nature category, and then I go ahead and I put it inside this item group inside the construction category. It will still correctly appear inside the menu for us, but it will throw off also a warning error in the content log. So it's something to just keep in mind to keep your behavior on your blocks consistent with your behavior for your crafting item catalog. It isn't a huge deal, but it definitely is something that's going to throw a content log. So make sure you go ahead and list all your blocks here now under items. So now my first one would be the Shark block. So we're going to go like Shark block, and then make sure that you remove any unused items as well. So like if that was the only one I was putting in my group, then I would just go ahead and remove all those things there. And now I would be all set to go ahead and save this and test it out in game. Now if I wanted to add a list of items here, we can go ahead and list them as well. So we can grab like our existing identifier here for the first block, and we go ahead and copy paste that down here, and we can put like our next one. So it could be like shark light block, let's say, if that was one of my blocks. We could do multiple blocks here. You can fit as many as you'd like to, I believe. I've never actually tested to see if there is a limit, but you can fit quite a few blocks in these categories for sure. And then if you were all done with your category, just make sure you go ahead and save the file here. Now that's how you go ahead and make one group inside this category. Now if I wanted to go ahead and make two groups, what I would do is just go ahead and put a new section here. So we just go ahead and copy our whole squiggly brackets, and then you can see that I'm still under my construction category, but I'm within my little square brackets here for groups. And now I've put two different groups inside of here. And now we can go ahead and like change this one so that this could be like, shark blocks 2. Obviously it would be whatever your block categories are. So like for me, for existence, I have one that's like colored amethyst is its own category, or like colored sea lanterns are their own category. Whatever makes sense. Or you could just cram all your blocks, all your custom blocks into one category and just make it like your shark block category. If you're running a bunch of different add-ons, you might want to just run one category per, add-on category, whatever you want to do. So now that's how you do a couple of groups within one category. So now we're going to bounce out of this file here, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into the larger example. Now, if you guys are having any trouble with this, feel free to go ahead and jump into that Shark Commander's Discord and actually join and fill out the verification. And you'll be able to go ahead and ask me questions directly about stuff like this. Or there's lots of other knowledgeable commanders in there as well that are great at doing add-ons that we could probably go ahead and help you out with, getting stuck on something like this. The second example here is a more full example inside the Crafting Item Catalog 2. So why don't we go ahead and open up that file there, and we can go ahead and check out that we have a few different groups this time. So if we go ahead and check here, we have the construction one, we have the equipment one, we have the items, and we have the nature, which are all of the valid entries for category name at this time in vanilla. Unfortunately, we can't make our own categories yet, but at least we can make our own groups, right? So now we can go ahead and check this out. And this first one here, the construction, is going to be the exact same example pretty much that we had in the other file. Except for that we're going to go ahead and use slightly different identifiers, but it's the same thing. You guys would go ahead and edit this through, and you'd go ahead and put your group name, your group identifier that you want to show up. You choose your block name, your display block, and you would list your items here. But one more thing that I optionally included in all the categories here is that you can actually list items as part of like a loose item. So at the end of the list of all the groups and at the end of the list of all the vanilla items there, where your items normally would appear now in an unorganized fashion, you can organize those as well if you want to put them like in a certain order with no group. You can go ahead and list them here. So you can go ahead and put the items just like you do there. You just comma and you just list another group of items there, and they'd appear at the bottom of the construction category. And then this is how you basically would open up a new category name. So you see here we have our section all between these two blue squiggly brackets. That's the construction category, but then we can just go ahead and chuck a comma in here, and we can open up a new category, and we can use any of the valid categories that we talked about. And then the next one here is equipment. And my equipment example is identical to the construction example. So this just shows you exactly how you would lay it out, just like before. And then we have a couple more here. We have the items one, which is exactly the same as the equipment and the construction. And then we have our nature category here as well, which is exactly the same as well. And again, don't forget, you can put as many groups as you'd like to. This nature category, I actually decided to go ahead and show you guys two groups inside of it. So you can see that I have group number 1 here and group number 2. Sort of just like we did in that first file there where we added our own group. So you guys can go ahead and list as many groups as you would like to within the category. Now don't forget, if you guys aren't using the full version of this file, so let's say like I only wanted to use the construction and the equipment set categories here, make sure you go ahead and delete the rest of the file and you actually go ahead and remove any unused namespaces here, so make sure you're not listing a bunch of items that don't make sense, because obviously in your custom pack you don't have an item that's called namespace item score or number one here. You don't have that. Unless you do, I mean, that's cool, but make sure you remove all the items that actually don't exist in the world. Otherwise, it's going to throw up some pack errors for you, and this might actually not even work. You can see here in the final section, just so it made a little bit more sense, I even left you guys like a real identifier name from my world. So you're going to want to go ahead and make sure you put all your real identifiers. Go through here and edit this all to your liking. If you guys found this video helpful, please go ahead and throw a like on it. Subscribe to the channel. It really helps out a lot. And I assume you guys already had to jump into that Shark Commander Discord to have made it this far. But definitely consider actually verifying and joining the group where we all can chat about commands and add-ons and all that kind of cool stuff. Thank you guys very much for watching, and keep on coding.